I am absolutely thrilled to dive into today's topic with you, because we're exploring something that quietly dictates, well, pretty much every single moment of our existence. We're going to look at the invisible software running your mind. We're unpacking how your subconscious secretly controls your reality, and more importantly, how you can actually step up, take the reins, and become the true architect of the whole shebang. Let's get right into it.
So what if I told you that most of your life isn't actually being controlled by you? I know. It sounds kind of unsettling, right? But just think about your daily thoughts, your habits, your fears, the relationships you choose, or even your baseline level of self-worth. It turns out you might not be consciously choosing any of those things at all. Instead, they might just be running on hidden programs buried super deep inside your mind. Okay, let's dive into this with a pretty staggering number, 95%. Neuroscientists estimate that nearly 95% of human behavior is completely automatic. 95! That means for the vast majority of our day, we aren't consciously creating our lives. We're just unconsciously repeating them. You know, you can spend years, maybe even decades, trying to force change in your life without ever realizing that the real control center is hidden completely beneath your conscious awareness.
Section 1. The conscious versus the subconscious.
Think of your conscious mind as the captain of a ship. It's logical, right? It sets goals, makes plans, analyzes the horizon. But the subconscious mind, that is the massive, deep ocean beneath the ship. It's deeply emotional, highly automatic, and above all, it constantly seeks the familiar. You might consciously really want success, but if your subconscious ocean associates success with, say, stress, rejection, or danger, it's going to create huge waves to sabotage you. It will literally drag you back to what's familiar, even if that familiarity is totally painful.
Let's look at the actual science behind this for a second. Whenever you repeat a thought or behavior, your brain creates a physical connection called a neural pathway. And the more you repeat something, the stronger and more efficient that pathway becomes, until the behavior becomes completely automatic. Basically, your brain becomes hyper-efficient at repeating patterns just to save energy. This is exactly why habits, both the good ones and the bad ones, eventually start to feel entirely effortless.
Now, you might be wondering, how do these pathways start in the first place? Unfortunately, it usually happens when we're really young. Children absorb ideas and beliefs without questioning them at all. If a kid repeatedly hears phrases like, "you're not good enough," "money is hard to come by," or "you just can't trust people," the brain literally wires those right in. Slowly but surely, those ideas stop being just things people say, and they crystallize into hard subconscious truths. They aren't actual facts about reality, but your brain treats them like absolute, unshakable programming. And that's exactly why they are so incredibly tough to shake once we're adults.
This brings us to an incredibly profound concept, perfectly summarized by the pioneering psychologist Carl Jung. He said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Man, that one sentence explains so much of human suffering, doesn't it? Our subconscious fights tooth and nail to preserve its identity. So if you have a deep program that says, "I am not worthy," your mind will unconsciously search for evidence to prove it. It'll make you overthink compliments or totally self-sabotage opportunities just to maintain that familiar yet painful identity.
Section 2. The reality filter. Inside your brain, right at this very moment, is a network called the Reticular Activating System, or RAS for short. Now, every single second, millions of bits of information are absolutely bombarding your senses, but your conscious mind can only handle a tiny, tiny fraction of that. So the RAS acts like a bouncer at a club, deciding what gets through the door. And what are its filtering rules? Your dominant subconscious beliefs. If your program says life is unfair, your RAS makes sure you only notice the problems. But if you believe opportunities are everywhere, your RAS suddenly highlights all the possibilities. Your subconscious is literally shaping your perception of reality itself. This filtering system gets completely locked in by two main things: repetition and emotion. Your subconscious learns best when you combine these two. And this is exactly why emotionally intense moments like trauma, deep embarrassment, or profound fear leave such massive psychological marks. Your brain actually stores these as survival memories. Over time, your body can literally become addicted to familiar emotions. Things like stress, anxiety, and overthinking, they stop feeling strange and actually start feeling normal. People can unknowingly live inside these completely familiar emotional loops for decades.
Section 3. Rewiring your brain.
But right here is where we get to completely flip the script. The ultimate scientific tool we have at our disposal is neuroplasticity. This is the brain's absolutely incredible ability to physically rewire itself. It means you are never permanently stuck with your childhood programming or your past traumas. No way. You can literally build brand new roads in your brain. But just a heads up, it requires moving way beyond just throwing a few positive thoughts at the wall and hoping they stick. And this brilliantly illustrates the real formula for change. Real neuroplastic change requires 3 elements working together: repeated attention, emotion, and repetition. Basically, you have to consciously direct your focus, you have to attach a super strong feeling to that new focus, and then you have to do it over and over again.
To make this super actionable, we can break this formula down into 4 simple steps. Step 1, observe your automatic patterns. Step 2, change your inner language. Step 3, visualize with emotion. And step 4, rely on repetition to build a new identity. All right, let's walk through exactly how you can start applying each of these today.
It all starts with observation. You basically have to become a completely neutral witness to your own mind. Start noticing what triggers you emotionally. Try to catch those repeated thoughts that just spiral out of nowhere, and really identify your self-sabotaging behaviors. Why do we do this? Well, because awareness instantly weakens unconscious control. It's really that simple. I mean, you can't rewrite a line of code in a program if you refuse to even open the file and look at it, right?
Once you actually see the patterns, you have to change the instructions. You see, your subconscious is constantly always listening to your inner voice. So if you walk around muttering destructive stuff like, "I can't do this," or "I'm just so unlucky," your mind accepts those as literal commands. Your language essentially becomes your identity. We have to completely replace that with conscious direction. And look, this isn't about toxic positivity or just faking happiness. It's about giving your mind intentional, crystal clear instructions about exactly where you're going. Okay, step 3 is where the absolute magic happens. Visualize with emotion. There's a huge reason elite athletes, top-tier entrepreneurs, and high performers all use visualization. The brain actually struggles to tell the difference between a highly vivid, imagined experience and a real one. When you vividly imagine the future version of yourself and you actually feel the joy, the confidence, or the relief emotionally, your subconscious immediately begins treating it as real. You are literally training your nervous system to become familiar with success instead of fear.
Finally, the absolute glue that holds this whole thing together is repetition. Doing just one meditation session or saying one positive affirmation in the mirror, well, that's simply not going to erase 20 years of deep conditioning. The subconscious mind changes through sheer brute force consistency. It's the small, repeated actions and the consistently redirected thoughts that slowly but surely carve out those new neural pathways. And eventually, over time, those new pathways harden into an entirely new personality.
Section 4, waking up.
Let this thought really sink in for a moment. The greatest prison is unconscious conditioning. The greatest freedom is waking up from it. The very second you become aware of your unconscious patterns, you stop being a passenger in your own life. You actively begin taking your power back. Slowly but surely, the mind that once controlled you becomes the exact tool you consciously direct to build the life you've always wanted.
So I want to leave you with a final, pretty provocative thought. Tonight, right before you go to sleep, when your subconscious is wide open and highly receptive, ask yourself this question. Are my conscious thoughts actively creating my life? Or am I just living inside a program I never even chose? Really think about that.
Please like, share, comment and subscribe this channel and press the bell icon to never miss an update.